Namaste, everybody. How are we doing today? Yeah. So we're going to be spending about the next 10 minutes or so going through a little bit of a meditative journey. Yeah. So there's obviously several different modalities of finding your personal meditation, and today we're going to be focusing a little bit more on the vrittis, or the content, the fluctuations of the mind, as opposed to trying to clear the mind completely. And in this, we can separate ourselves from the content, from the conditions of the mind, so that we can find a little bit more space. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and assume our comfortable sitting position here, shutting down the eyes to become a little bit more introspective. Right away to begin, we'll add a little bit more intentional construction to this literal seat, this literal asana. So engaging through the lower abdomen slightly to invite an anterior pelvic tilt, tilting the pelvic bowl forward. Engaging the navel, drawing it towards the spine, practicing your Uddiyana Bandha, and then release about 50%. Notice if the lower ribs have jutted forward. It's quite common in this seat. And instead of rounding through the spine, adding a kyphotic curve, see if you can just engage through your rectus abdominis, your quote-unquote six-pack muscles, to draw those ribs back in. And all of this action, notice if your shoulders have crept up towards your earlobes, then just gently depress the scapula back down the spine, encouraging a length in the cervical vertebrae, the back of the neck, allowing the cranium and the crown of the head to shine open and bright, Sahasrara chakra available for receptivity here in space and here in time. And in this deliberate construction, we'll take a few moments to scan the space of the physical body. Scan the space of the physical body. Looking out for any of the ingredients in the recipe of now that allow you to be perfectly here and perfectly now. So we can do this either traveling in a linear manner up and down the spine, cranium to sacrum, or maybe in a more organic, somatic, sensate type way. Listening for the voices in the temple that might be speaking a little bit louder to you in this moment, and traveling inward from there. So this might be the compression at the lower back from this constructed seat. This might be the compression behind the knee. This might be any latent sensations from your previous slumber last night. This might be the general density of the going morning air. Soft kiss from the breeze as it blows in off of the roaring Arabian Sea. The quality of pineapple incense as it floods the air. The weight of your yoga clothing. The weight of your breath. The rise and fall of your navel as it dances in perfect choreography with each inhalation and exhalation. Perfect choreography with each inhalation and exhalation. The rise and fall of your navel pressing against your yoga clothing. Creating this perfect circuitry, the symphony of your exterior, the choreography, the dance of your interior. Dynamic, taking a few moments to tap into or check into parts of the physical body you might not normally consider. Places like the nail bed of your right ring finger, your left pinky toe, your earlobes, the nape of the neck, the space between the nostrils and the upper lip, and the air that passes in and out of your nostrils with each inhalation and exhalation, the quality of the air, quality of the breath. As we bring our awareness to this anatomical reference point between the nostrils and the upper lip, noticing the warming quality on each exhalation and maybe the cooling quality on each inhalation, we can begin to scan our natural breath here. Focusing in on any of the qualities, conditions, gunas, any of the gunas of the breath. So allowing your breath to be natural, of course, when we draw our awareness to the breath, we all want to add in this quote-unquote deep, long yogi breath. So if your first breath happens for you naturally, go ahead and let that happen, but then try to forgive that effort, so we're simply watching the breath as it's entering and exiting the physical body. Applying adjectives, non-judgmental adjectives, such as short, shallow, staccato, vibrato, long, smooth, luxurious. Or if you're like most of us, it's a combination of something in between. Feeling out the breath here. Start to notice any creases, any ripples, any gaps in the breath. Any little bumps in the breath. And see if by just drawing your awareness to these spaces, to these gaps, to these ripples, you have a natural tendency to iron them out. Trusting your body's wisdom to iron out these spaces, eventually inviting in a little bit more of a smoother breath to your practice. So in yoga, we often equate the word prana, big P prana, with the breath. However, prana and the breath are two separate entities, right? Prana directly translates to vital life force. It's this exchange of energy that we both cultivate and share. We take in and we expel, right? And the breath is merely one of several vehicles, several vessels that allows prana to travel through the space of our body. We also get prana from food, from sunlight, so on and so forth. So with each inhalation, as you take in this prana, maybe we can begin to conceptualize on a very visceral kind of physiological level how these oxygen cells in the lungs are then taken through the circulatory system, all the way through our veins and into our capillaries, flooding our body with this prana. And a more esoteric level, with each inhalation, you're allowing prana to travel through the nadi. And with the use of creative visualization, let's just imagine that each inhalation, as we take in this prana and we breathe it into spaces that are not necessarily our lungs, we then are illuminating our seat, this literal asana that we have cultivated, that we've created. So with this smooth breath that we've harbored here in space, each inhalation we allow our bodies to glow in this beautiful pranic light, sinking into this seat of beautiful prana. Allowing yourself to glow just a little bit brighter, inviting your breath to spaces you might not normally consider. Allow yourself to be energized by this dictated, distinguished, intentional pranic seat. So we're going to come into a little bit of a visualization from this place. I invite you to imagine that the back of the eyelids were a screen at a cinema, a screen at a movie theater. Okay. And with each inhalation, you glow a little bit brighter, almost as if serving as a projector for your vrittis, the fluctuations of the mind. And as you glow brighter, the thoughts that are passing through your brain are then projected onto the back of the eyelids, the screen of this cinema. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to watch your thoughts as they're projected in front of you. And I invite you to try to step back from getting involved in the narrative too deeply, right? Try not to be the lead actor or actress. Try not to be the hair and makeup artist, even the director, even the playwright in this scenario. The same way that we let our breath run freely, see what happens if you let your thoughts run freely, simply watching them as they're projected on the back of the eyelids. Enjoying this seat in the movie theater of the physical body, this seat in the movie theater, the cinema of the mind. So continue to let your thoughts unfold. I'll let you sit here for a few moments. If you find yourself getting lost in your thoughts or too involved in any one or two plot lines, simply come back to the breath, allowing yourself to become illuminated with this gorgeous, glowing, luminescent light. Enjoy the cinema of your mind, and I'll call you back when it is time. about the next 30 seconds or so to wrap up any plot lines, any loose narratives. Watch any last little trains of thought unfold here naturally. Again, separating yourself from the narrative, simply watching the content for this last 30 seconds. Taking a deep breath in, inviting in a deeper breath than what might be natural to flood the entire body with glowing, luminous light, allowing your thoughts to fade to white. And as you exhale, allow yourself to come back into the physical body a little bit more profoundly. Noticing any of those beginning sensations, the weight, the compression on the lower back, behind the knees, the yoga clothing, the rise and fall of the navel, the smell of pineapple incense, the density of the Goan morning air coming back into this space. Gently arriving back into this space. Go ahead and bring our palms together, heart center, finding an Anjali Mudra. As a reminder, Anjali Mudra looks something like Namaste or Namaskar Mudra, sometimes called prayer hands, except we're creating the shape of a bija, a seed, with the palm. And in that hollowed space between our palms, we'll set our sankalpa, or our intention for today's meditation. Maintaining a presence in the now and watching the now non-judgmentally. Willing that this intention can flourish off of the space of our mat here together, holding on to this for the rest of our day, week, month, year. We'll end today's practice with one omnipresent sound of the universe, one Om here together in Sangha. So let's exhale, releasing any stagnant prana, if there is any, from the lung space. And inhale for Om. Loka samasta sukhinu bhavantu. All beings without one exception know peace and be released from suffering. So it is, and so it shall. Hare Om Namaha Namaste. The light in me bows to the light in each and every one of you beautiful, awesome, amazing, creative, talented people. Thank you for spending these 10 minutes with me. See you guys around. Peace out.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.